beautiful afternoon it is for baseball here in the Gateway City. We're at Busch Stadium in St. Louis. And the Cardinals looking for a sweep over the Miami Marlins. It's not quite the mad dash, but yesterday, boy, it was a fun win for St. Louis. The base hit for Shane Robinson into right field. The ball would get away on the relay from Giancarlo Stanton to Logan Morrison. Jay takes home plate. The Cardinals win it. How about we flash back? 1946, the mad dash. Enos Slaughter, 8th inning against the Boston Red Sox. That would prove to be the game winner and one of the most famous slides in World Series history. And with my partner Al Brabowski, the Mad Hungarian, I'm Dan McLaughlin. Always fun to look back and see that. And Al, that was a championship team of 1946. You wonder about this 2013 version of the Cardinals. Yesterday, boy, they're gifted a win, but they'll take it.
Yeah, it was one of those fun things. I'm not sure it ranks up there as like the 46 World Series, but it was very important in the Cardinals' 52nd win yesterday, and now they're going for the sweep against the Fish.
And the Cardinals face one of the toughest young right-handers, if not the toughest in baseball. He's only 20. Jose Fernandez against Lance Lynn. Baseball coming up.
It's been a struggle of late for him, but most of those problems have been on the road. Here at home, he's outstanding. He has won 9 straight decisions, and that's what he has to remember.
On the other side, it is Jose Fernandez. He'll be the youngest Marlins All-Star ever. And last time that we saw him, he struck out 10. It was a Friday night in Miami. And these strikeouts all came on the final pitch of the strikeout with a breaking ball. He can be nasty.
He really can. And his last time out, he equaled his career high of 10 strikeouts. He's feeling really good about himself right now. You've got to be ready for early fastballs.
Coming up, two of the biggest sluggers you'll see on display today. Baseball this afternoon on Fox Sports Midwest. This ball is gone.
Holiday sends it deep to center field. That one's not coming back.
Double for Stanton, 3-hit night.
Rips it out to right field and into second base.
Stanton takes him deep.
Unquestionably, two of the strongest players in Major League Baseball, two outfielders on display today. The average hit speed, this is coming off their bat, 80 miles an hour plus for Giancarlo Stanton, nearly 80 for Matt Holliday. Their season high, Stanton hit into a double play, 114 miles an hour. Meanwhile, against his former teammate and good buddy Kyle Loesch, Matt Holliday took him deep. That one measured at 108 miles an hour. Giancarlo Stanton, the right fielder of the Miami Marlins, is in the lineup today. He'll bat third. Baseball is coming up on Fox Sports Midwest. We got to the ballpark today. The Cardinals sending 5 to the Midsummer Classic. Adam Wainwright, his second selection. First-timers, Alan Craig and Matt Carpenter. And there'll be 2 starters for Bruce Bochy in the National League club from the St. Louis Cardinals.
Carlos Beltran got more votes than any other National League outfielder. He will be going to the Classic for an 8th time. Good numbers the first half. Hope he can continue it. You talk about numbers. Yadier Molina going to the All-Star game for the 5th time. He still leads the National League in hitting, and we got some good news on his knee.
We have well over 40,000 in attendance today. The AT Porch Flag giveaway. It's Christian Day as well. Oh, by the way, Cardinals looking for a sweep next on Fox Sports Midwest. Bud Light music first. It's the sound of history being made. Here we go. See your Mid-America Chevy dealer or log on to stlchevy.com. Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers, #1 for quality tires and expert auto service. Save big money at Menards on all your home improvement needs. And by Steak and Shake. Steak and Shake, just no equal. Beautiful afternoon for baseball, a packed house, and let's turn to our Toyota keys to the game. What have you highlighted, Al?
Well, this is pretty much for the Cardinal hitters. You want to jump on the first fastball you see in the strike zone. Remember last time Fernandez got 10 strikeouts against the Redbird. Every strikeout came on a secondary pitch. He's got an overpowering fastball, but be ready for it.
Mike Matheny and the Cardinals with 52 wins before the All-Star break, and hopefully more to come. A look at the Marlins lineup. Juan Pierre, his first start in this series, followed by Ed Lucas and Giancarlo Stanton. Then Logan Morrison. Last 6 games against St. Louis, and 4 of those he's hit home runs. Marcell Ozuna, Derek Dietrich, Adeiny Echevarria, Jeff Mathis, and Jose Fernandez, the pitcher, the 20-year-old and All-Star. Cardinals defense around the horn brought to you by Dobbs, Holiday, Jay, and Beltran in the outfield. Freeze, Cosma on the left side. Carpenter and Craig, 2 All-Stars on the right side. Tony Cruz, another start behind the plate with Yadi on the bench. Yadi saying he hopes to play on Tuesday night. Our Kia starter, Lance Lynn, looking for win number 11.
Well, you see those good numbers, but he has struggled of late. If you go back to his last 5 decisions, he's 2-3 with an ERA over 5.5. He is a different pitcher at home, where he is undefeated this year, has 9 consecutive wins here at home, and overall in his young career, he's 15-5 pitching in St. Louis.
Longtime major leaguer Juan Pierre Was told he'll never be a major leaguer. Well, 2,000 plus hits later, here he is.
And over 600 steals. 18th player to have at least 600.
Been a very good major leaguer, and a strike on the outside corner. Adrian Johnson, our home plate umpire. Juan Pierre, one of the hardest workers you'll see in the game today. 14th season and close to a 300 career hitter. David Freese in on the grass at third. That pitch is taken in, 1 ball and 1 strike.
Juan is liked every place he goes. He's just, as you said, a hard worker, a very humble young man, and his game is speed. He'll slap down, infield hits, bunt hits. That's the way, any way to get on base.
Here's a 1-1 pitch. Have to be quick. That's Cosma to his left, 1 away. Pete Cosma back in there after 3 consecutive nights off. And the first man retired.
Mike Matheny said he's gotten some good work in on the side, trying to get his batting average going in the right direction. And I think he's excited to see how it'll turn out. Not going to be easy against Fernandez.
Ed Lucas is a hit in 9 of his last 12 games. And overall, 282, just 1 home run, 7 RBIs. Good on base percentage as he takes a fastball and a strike. A lot has been made of the blow up innings, if you will, of Lance Lynn. So trying to really keep an eye on that, not to have that one bad inning. It came against Houston 2 starts ago. Then it was Los Angeles, and there's a base hit into right. But after that 1 inning, before and after, Lance Lynn is the guy that we saw was an all-star a year ago.
Absolutely. Sometimes it just gets away from you, and for a brief period of time, try to go inside, the ball stays over the middle of the plate, and a nice piece of hitting, slicing it to the right field.
So look at your Chevy Fox tracks. You'll see that throughout our telecast today. Giancarlo Stanton, 246. That average, I would be shocked if it's at 246 by the end of the year. Doesn't even lead their club in home runs. That's shocking too. Missed considerable time. He has 8 on the season, and he's driven in 22. He was part of that mishap by the Marlins to end the game yesterday.
He was charged with an error. That was his 7th, and you're right, he got off to a very slow start, then missed a lot of time with a hamstring injury.
You ever seen a game end in that fashion?
Nope. And I was talking to a couple of the coaches with the Marlins. They all agreed, and that's the beauty of this game. Every day you might see something you've never seen before, and you can always learn by it.
Stanton has tore up the Cardinals in the previous series. He's hitting 9 straight against St. Louis. So the Cardinals trying to figure out a way to get him out. And it's not just the video that they look at concerning what he's done in the last 7 to 10 days. It's also the at-bats previous series last year, looking for any edge to get one of the premier hitters out.
There's a pitch. You throw that pitch right there, you're going to get a lot of people out. That ball just ran in on him, up and in, and watch this awkward swing. Power hitters. It's a power hitter. The ball could jump off his bat, but where that location was, you're just going to get a little dribbler.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Same location, struck him out. First strikeout of the afternoon for Lance Lynn.
Lance Lynn, strikeout per inning.
Plaza Tire Service replay, running in on the hands. Good sinking action as well.
Yes, it was. Had that good sinking action. Started it in, and it went down and in even further.
Cardinals need to figure out a way to get Logan Morrison out. He has had a very good series. 5 for 14. And 4 runs scored.
6-game hitting streak against the Cardinals. And that dates back to last year because he missed all of spring training, missed the first series in Miami. He was still dealing with recovering from knee surgery that he had last September.
And a ground ball that's sharply hit and taken there by Craig. He was holding the runner at first. And Morrison grounds out. Half inning in the books, and there's no score. average. Home runs, RBIs. Carpenter, Beltran, and Holiday here in the first inning. Then Craig, Freeze, and Jay, Cruz, Cosma, the pitcher, Lance Lynn. Defensively, right in the middle of the pack, the Marlins are in errors. Pierre, Ozuna, and Stanton in the outfield. This is brought to you by Dobbs, Lucas, Echevarria, left side of the infield, Dietrich, Morrison, right side, Mathis a start behind the plate. And he is 20 years of age. Found out last night he's an all-star and coming off a terrific performance against San Diego. Went 8 innings, shutting out the Padres, and that's Jose Fernandez.
That was a career high in innings, one more than he had against the Cardinals down in Miami, but he had the same 10 strikeouts. That ties his career high.
Nice round of applause for the all-star Carpenter. And on the first pitch, he skies one into center field. Marcell Ozuna makes the catch, and there is one away.
Fernandez moves from single A ball to the major leagues. He has elite level stuff. He was the most dominant pitcher in the minors last year. He went 14-1 with a 1.75 ERA, 35 walks, 158 strikeouts, and 134 innings. He's only 20 years of age, as you said, and he defected from Cuba on his 4th attempt at 15.
Not to say that you don't pull for everybody to have success, but when you hear stories of Yasiel Puig, Fernandez, Cespedes, what they've gone through to get to here, you really want them to have success.
Like I said, 4th attempt was his first successful fleeing Cuba, and right before he made his first start, it was against the Mets, and they say he's unflappable. He made a pretty good quote. How about this? I've been to jail, I've been shot at, I've been in the water. I'm not scared. I'm not scared of David Wright. What can he do? And when you talk about jail, in the first 3 attempts, when you are caught trying to flee Cuba, you go to prison.
And with 2 strikes, he has been almost unhittable. Opponents since the 18th of June, 2 strike counts against Fernandez, hitting .054. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
That's why our Toyota key to the game is getting ready early.
Ground ball, right side, taken there by Dietrich. 2 away. Speaking of those all-star pitchers, there's one of them, Fernandez, a first-timer, and here they are. National League all-star pitchers, Harvey, Kershaw, Corbin, Wainwright, Jordan Zimmerman, his first visit. Jason Grilli, outstanding closer of the Pirates, Kimbrel, Chapman Wood, Fernandez, Lee, Locke, and Bumgarner. Think about the Braves. They've let Locke go, Wainwright, developed Kimbrel. As Holiday pops it foul, so they've had some pretty good talent come through their system.
We've talked about a lot of that talent was from the state of Georgia, as the Braves, who had that, what was it, a run of 14 consecutive years of postseason play. That just excited a lot of young Georgians, and they took up the game of baseball. A lot of them have reached the big leagues.
Fernandez hasn't quite captivated the country like Yasiel Puig, but his story right there. Deep center, and the Cardinals lead it. Holiday. Solo shot here in the first. His 12th of the season, RBI number 43. Just an absolute rocket off his back. 1-0 Cardinals.
And Dan, a lot of times we talk about a young team like the Marlins, that you got to jump ahead of them, get ahead of them, and then they kind of quit on you. But that's not this team anymore. As you see the pitch, try to stay inside. It comes back over the middle just a little bit, and he crushes it.
Just the 7th home run allowed by Fernandez this year. Comes on a 1-1 pitch, and the Cardinals have a 1-run lead. 420 feet, the estimated distance of that home run, is Craig, first pitch, and this seems to be the pattern. Be aggressive early on, pops out to second. But Matt Holliday and his 12th home run give the Cardinals an early lead. The hit speed, 103 plus. highlighted that in our open. Two of the best in Stanton and Holiday, and doing that, just crushed from the big man. Number 12 for Holiday this season, 43 driven in. And the big story there here at the ballpark, not just the All-Stars, but also the status of All-Star catcher Yadier Molina. More on that. Here's Jim.
Dan, it's good news. Yadi had an MRI on his troublesome right knee last night, and it came up negative. It's just inflammation. Yadi says the knee has been bothering him for about a month, but it became a concern to him on Friday when the knee started hurting him when he ran. But he had it checked out last night. Again, it checked out fine. Yadi's out today. He says he could return as soon as Tuesday, Dan.
And that is about the best news the Cardinals could receive. This is Marcell Ozuna.
Some of the reporters were telling Mike Matheny that he said he could play today if he had to. And Mike's going, yeah, sure. But catch a little break with the off day. So get him off that knee for the few days, and hopefully it'll settle down. But as Mike said, you know, if you're a catcher, you're going to be hurting every day.
Cardinals have told Molina on certain block balls, don't worry necessarily about the block, that if you pick it because of certain ways he moves, and that just missed, it does aggravate the knee. So they're trying to take every precaution necessary to keep him in the lineup. He still is the league's leading hitter.
Yeah, Mike has traced his back problems to the way he used to block balls. We all thought it was great, but he said it took a real toll on his body, and you know, some of the things that you do when you're younger, you think you can get away with it, but they have consequences as you get older.
Marlins made some news with the trade of Ricky Nolasco late last night to Los Angeles. They still have prospects to deal, even after all their trades last year. That's out number 1 to John Jay. Fox Sports Midwest, the Blues will team up July 15th through the 19th for a youth hockey camp. Details at stlouisblues.com/youth hockey. Just a matter of time with Nolasco.
Yes, everybody knew it was coming. Just when and who with.
And remember, Nolasco's a guy that leads in most categories for their pitchers in major categories in Marlins history. You wouldn't think that, but he does. That's pulled foul off the bat of Derek Dietrich.
But I think you can kind of see that the three starters that the Marlins used in this series are going to be guys that hopefully will take over all those columns.
Then you wonder when they'll be traded. Here's the 0-1 pitch. You say that half kiddingly. 20 years of the history of the Marlins, and
3.
Yeah, gutted this franchise a number of times.
Won 2 world championships, and soon after, all of a sudden they go shopping. I will say this, their baseball department, the scouts, everyone involved in some of the selection, you know, when they're forced by ownership to get rid of players, they do a really good job of getting prospects in return.
1-2 pitch taken outside. Matt Holliday has given the Cardinals a 1-run lead. We showed you on Friday night that Holliday has very good numbers against the Marlins in his career. Today being the 59th game against Miami, 14 home runs and 44 driven in. Fouled back. 2-2.
Dietrich, a young player that they got from Tampa Bay. He was a shortstop at Georgia Tech, converted now to second base, and I think he's going to be a keeper. Got very good power. A home run yesterday and another extra base hit.
Cardinals will enjoy the off day tomorrow, catch up on some sleep after getting in late on Friday. As crazy as that sounds, that really is how it works. I mean, the Cardinals right now, got to the ballpark a little later than usual on Friday. No BP. They did not take BP today. Just trying to rest guys for this final game. Wainwright and Bud Norris on Tuesday. Shelby Miller, Jordan Lyles on Wednesday.
Have as good as travel as possible, but did after the game in Anaheim have to bus to LAX and then fly home. Everybody got home to their homes. You know, you land at, what was it, around 5 o'clock in the morning, land, but then take a bus to the ballpark here, pick up the car, and then get home. So most guys are hitting the sack 6 in the morning.
Line drive, right center, and that ball is trouble. Jay will play it off the wall. One hopper, and Dietrich has a stand-up double with one out here in the top of the second. Get you caught up on your all-star news. Cardinals have 5 going to Citi Field in New York, and 2 of the 5 will be starters. That's Molina behind the plate, Beltran in right, Bryce Harper along with Cargo joined Beltran in the outfield. David Wright, the starter at third. Troy Tulowitzki, despite the fact he's been hurt, is at short. Phillips and Votto from the Reds on the right side. All-Star game July 16th, only on Fox.
And congratulations to Yadier Molina, the highest vote getter.
And that's a base hit into right. Dietrich being waved in, and Echeverria has tied the game up 1-1. Just his 23rd RBI this season.
Sometimes young hitters understand situational hitting or not. But there he does a nice job trying to shoot for the right side. Carpenter was playing up the middle and splits the gap between first and second. And Dietrich was all the way home before that ball got into the glove of Beltran. I was saying, usually a club like the Marlins, you get on top of them, you know, they kind of quit. But not this group now. They're showing a lot of signs of playing hard for 9 full innings. Before they came into St. Louis, they had a 3-0 deficit against the Atlanta Braves and came back and won that ball game.
Runner at first is Jeff Mathis, or rather Echeverria with Jeff Mathis at the plate. 1 out, and we're tied up 1-1 here in the top of the second. Marlins come in with just 32 wins. That's fewest in the National League, and tied with Houston overall for the fewest amount of wins in Major League Baseball.
But they have played much better of late. On Friday night, we were saying they had the best record in baseball since May 31st, with 2 losses here. Now they're falling to the third best record in the major leagues, 19-12 since May 31st, tied with Pittsburgh, and we know how well they're playing. They did lose last night, so the Cardinals currently are one game behind them. Matt is not much of a hitter at 164, but they really love his handling of the pitching staff, particularly how well he's throwing. He's thrown out 11 of 16 base stealers.
Late with that swing and a strikeout for Lynn. His second. And there's 2 outs. It brings in the 9th place hitter, the pitcher, Jose Fernandez.
Now the pitcher looks like he gets in on the hitter a little bit, ties him up. That's Lynn. I think the Sky report on him would be much like we said against Fernandez. Be ready for fastballs.
He's peeking down at third as we saw there, and that's strike 2 on Fernandez.
Mentioned that he tried escaping 4 different times. Fourth one he was finally successful. Landed in the shores of Mexico, and during the course of that village, someone fell out of the boat. Heard man overboard. He dove into the water and saved his mother.
Strikeout as Cruz blocks it. Fernandez is the third strikeout victim for Lance Lynn today. Marlins tie it up. Home half of the second rolls in when we come back. Schnucks, your neighborhood hometown grocer. Beautiful day here in St. Louis. Glad you're with us. And this is the reserves for the All-Star game. Goldschmidt leading the league in RBIs. The first baseman for Arizona, Matt Carpenter. First trip, Pedro Alvarez, 20-plus home runs. Gene Segura leads as far as hits are concerned. Then Kadire, second in hitting. Dominic Brown caught fire. All those home runs, Andrew McCutchen and Buster Posey. Last year, David Freese was voted in as an All-Star in Kansas City and looks at a strike.
have to say, it looks like the fans and the players got a pretty great, good job on it.
Here's the 0-1 pitch. That's tapped foul. We were talking before the game about the glaring omissions, but you really don't have those when you have the luxury of saying, well, here's 5 that fans can vote in when they're on the outside looking in.
And that voting still is going on, right?
Oh, yeah.
For the final selection.
One ball, 2 strikes on Freeze. Jay on deck, and then Tony Cruz. There have been 20-year-old pitchers in the All-Star game. Not many. Fernandez will be one of them. Whether or not he pitches in the game is another story, but there have been guys that have done it. Catfish Hunter, Bob Feller, Jerry Walker back in 1959. Dwight Gooden did it. Fernando Valenzuela of the Dodgers back in 1981. If he appears in the game, he'll be the 5th youngest pitcher ever to participate. You see the on-base percentage of leading off an inning for David Freese in the top 3. That time he strikes out. First strikeout for Fernandez.
Sounds the breaking ball way off the plate.
All-Star final vote. Ian Desmond, Freddie Freeman, Gonzalez of the Dodgers, then Hunter Pence, Yasiel Puig. The fans determined that final roster spot. It's been such an interesting debate about Puig. Not a lot of time, clearly, as Jay looks at a breaking ball and a strike. But yet the impact has been huge. If he was doing it in Milwaukee, I'm not sure we'd be hearing as much about it. Doing it with the Dodgers or another small market team.
The Dodgers have been jumped start by the youngster. They're 4.5 game back, tied for second place in the National League West.
You never know where our Cardinal fans are watching. We have Jeff Bird and his wife, Lieutenant Sonia Bird, active duty right now, and they are watching online from an Air Force base in Turkey. Thanks for following your Cardinals and your service. 96 miles an hour, and that's taken low. 2 balls and 2 strikes with 1 out, nobody on. So we enjoy the 4th of July holiday weekend, the long weekend we've had. 2-2, slapped the other way. Extra bases for John Jay.
John Jay thought about going to third. Everybody knows the running speed of Juan Pierre out there, but everyone also knows he doesn't have a strong arm at all. So John Jay knows that this is going to be extra bases. He'll come out of the box running hard. He'll know he has 2, but he'll also have the play in front of him and let him be able to decide whether he should go for that extra base. He held up.
Tony Cruz, back-to-back starts. Have we ever said that about Tony Cruz? I'm not sure if he did that last year.
Well, I think we might have had a period of time last year where Yachty was out for a little bit of time, but not often. This is only his 9th game started this year.
Chance to put the Cardinals back on top. Takes a fastball high. Cruz primarily, before he got into pro ball, was an infielder. And remember how Tony La Russa would use him as an outfielder, third baseman, first baseman, and catcher.
There were times when you had the luxury of an expanded roster, you could carry a third catcher. There are times that he got the chance to pinch hit and did a pretty good job.
Sure did. Quiet, unassuming, does a good job working with the pitchers.
Ty Wigginton is our emergency catcher today.
Actually caught in college.
you want to be is you want to be named the emergency catcher and then hope you never have to man the position.
1-2 the count.
You know, a lot of guys have gotten 5 to 10 years more in the big leagues just because they were the emergency catcher.
Big crowd on this Sunday afternoon. Expecting close to 44,000 today. Check swing and a strikeout of Cruz. 2 in the inning, 2 in the game for Fernandez. 6 is a serious number, and when the Cardinals score 6, you can score any size coffee, fountain, or frozen drink for just 50 cents the next day at On the Run. Potentially walk Cosma to get to Lance Lynn. Interesting move here.
Yeah.
I'm not sure why they would do that. You've got a guy that clearly has been struggling, and you have an all-star on the mound. Now, I understand Lynn is not the threat that Cosma may be in the batter's box, but it is the second inning. But more times than not, it's a move that does pay off. We'll see if it does here.
Dan, you know, it is perplexing when you're complaining about a walk.
I love this situation, Al. I do it in BP.
I know you would.
Cosma has been working an awful lot in the cage. We've been talking about that, trying to improve his swing. Hitless in his last 17, and so Lance Lynn will face Fernandez. Runners at first and second.
Remember in the game that Lance Lynn down in Miami, he was the winner, but he gave up 7 runs. There was a situation where he was forced to hit for himself and got a big base hit and drove in 2 runs.
It's just a third intentional walk issue to Cosma this year. Runners at first and second, and 2 outs. Lynn, who was a very good hitter in high school. Now, I say that most guys, when you look at their numbers, pitchers that hit 100 now in the major leagues, you go back, they're such good athletes that they hit very well in high school. Lance was one of those guys. Number of home runs in the state of Indiana. Lynn out to right, but Stanton is there. Like we said, the move it just always pays off. back to the Twitter poll. We want to explain this, that you have to go online to MLB.com if you'd like to vote for one of the 5 remaining players. And the Twitter poll will be used internally, so to speak, by us on our broadcast today. And we'll give you those results. We're going to throw this out today and Tuesday and Wednesday. But if you'd like to vote for one of those 5, just head to MLB.com. All-Star Game, July 16th, only on Fox. Top of the lineup. It's Juan Pierre. He'll lead it off, followed by Lucas and Stanton.
Is your finger sore yet? I saw how many times you voted for your favorite.
Yasiel Puig?
Yes.
I didn't vote for him.
Oh, you did too.
I'm not telling you I'm voting for. I haven't decided yet. I'm just making the case as to why, of course, Al, the fans make this game, right?
Right.
And there's been so much buzz around him that if the fans would like to see him in, why not?
I have no problem. That's why I think it's a good way to resolve it. Bruce Bochy can say, here, turn it over to the fans.
1 ball, 1 strike. Al, I've just been informed of some major news. My understanding is Willie Robertson will make an appearance during our telecast today.
Called me, I guess it was 2 or 3 times every day on the road trip. I don't know why he wouldn't call you.
Have you seen Duck Dynasty?
I've never seen a full episode. I've kind of flipped channels and look at it for a few seconds, and I'm off.
Reality TV series on A&E. Here's a ground ball off the bat of Juan Pierre. 1 away. So Lynn retires Pierre, and Ed Lucas will be the hitter. I hear they're working on a new Christmas album just in time for the holiday season. Duck the Halls, a Robertson family Christmas. So we'll have to ask Willie about that. Strike at the knees to Lucas. Single to right. Of course, you and I done extensive research into Duck Dynasty and Willie Robertson, so I'll have to interview him as if I have never seen the show.
Bet you do a pretty good job at that.
And there's a strike, 1 and 2. Featured speaker for Christian Day. Late swing, just got a piece of that, and Tommy, our director, says he loves the show, and his favorite character is Uncle Si. Tom Mee is dialed in. You've got Willie, Phil, Kay, Corey, Missy, Jessica, Willie. And that's in the dirt. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Lance Lynn, for the 2nd consecutive year, is Gotten off a terrific start. 10-game winner right now. Last year he had 11 wins before the All-Star break, but really tails off after April and May. Hopefully shedding that 40 pounds will allow him to stay strong throughout the season. Remember, they took him out of the rotation even for a while, put him in the bullpen. Not that he did so well there, but it energized his arm, came back in September and pitched well again.
The 2-2 on a hop to short, taken by Cosmo. Wherever you may be, maybe you're stationed in Turkey. As we found out earlier in a tweet that was sent to me, you can watch Cardinals baseball. MLB.tv, where baseball is everywhere. We will have our salute to the troops. This one's for you, our telecast we try to do every year. Looking forward to that coming up later this month.
25th of July.
Your Stanton has struck out. Lynn has struck out 3. Good slider.
And mixing up his pitches. A lot of off-speed pitches.
0-1 pitch. I'd like to show the graphic first pitch strikes. So important at this level. You get that first pitch, and these guys, more times than not, pitchers in Major League Baseball can put you away.
But it's kind of a double-edged sword. That's what we were talking about with the Toyota keys, is be ready for the first fastball in the strike zone, because you got 2 starters here that really dominate with their fastball. It sets up their other pitches. People don't even, still probably wouldn't realize, even if you knew first pitch fastball was coming, how few times you'd probably put it in play and have a positive result.
Remember, Josh Harris pulled over Molina last year, and that's when Yachty missed time because of the concussion.
Right.
You know, they had to make sure that there were no symptoms with that.
Played what? Was it 3 games in a row?
I believe it was 3. Yeah.
I remember going to Tony Cruz after that and asking him about was he sore after playing 3 games with him.
One of the great young home run hitters. That's Marlins all time, the fastest to 100, so it only took 400 games for him. He's also in the top 10 in the history of Major League Baseball. Strikes out for the second time. Same pitch, tailing in on his hands. Strikeout number 4 for Lance Lynn. It's our Hyundai replay as we head to a break. He ties up Stanton. Top of the lineup for the St. Louis Cardinals, and here is the featured speaker for Christian Day, Willie Robertson. Welcome to the booth, sir.
It's good to be here.
You excited?
Yeah, I'm fired up, man. It's Christian Day.
Let me tell you something, Willie. I've been trying to get a hold of you for weeks, okay, over the phone as Carpenter is hit by that pitch. I've been talking about it on the air. I've had people, our fans, tweeting at you saying, hey, call Dan. What happened?
Well, apparently you didn't get a hold of the right people.
You want to give me your cell
man,
or what?
I'm sure. Well, yeah, I can.
All right, we'll do that later then, I guess. So what's going on, man?
Oh, I don't know. I'm trying to bring in all this information.
Don't
Good
read the
grief.
notes.
I feel like I'm back in college.
I'm here to interview you. You don't have to analyze the game. Good to see you in St. Louis.
Yeah, it's great to be here. What a game. What a day, huh?
Yeah, and I know people are excited to see you in town as Carpenter's hit by that pitch, and it brings in Carlos Beltran. And we're tied up in this ball game 1-1. Willie will be the featured speaker coming up later as Beltran drops down a bunt. Fernandez steps, throws, and advancing on the play. No, Carpenter will stay put at second. Tough play for Fernandez, and the first two have reached. Tell me about Duck Dynasty. What is this?
You know, it's just a simple show about a simple family. We got family values. You know, and people were turned on by that. I think it's kind of a throwback show, how shows used to be. You can sit down with your kids and watch it and not feel too embarrassed, and the country seems to like it. It's all over the world now.
Well, it is. It's a reality show on A&E. It's one of the top programs in the world right now, according to ratings, and as far as many people watch your program. As Beltran is aboard along with Carpenter, here's Holiday, who hit a home run his first time up on a 1-1 pitch.
I'm taking credit for that, too, by the way.
Why is that?
I signed his bat right before he went out.
Did you really?
Yeah, he asked me to sign a bat for a deal, so I'm taking credit. That was that positivity.
You think it was the bat he used?
No, I think he's going to keep that. I think he's giving it to charity. So.
Now, tell me about your show, because you know there's some that don't know about Duck Dynasty, and they say, Duck Dynasty, what the heck is that? So it's family values, but I mean, there's other shows that got family values.
Are there? It's you know, it's about us running our duck call business, and so I don't know how many families have long, huge beards and build duck calls for a living, but that was our call in life, and we've done all right. We've done pretty good with it. Yeah.
Can you give me a duck call? Give me a duck call.
I didn't even bring one.
Can't you just do one?
I would. Well, if I could do one with my mouth, then I wouldn't be a very good salesman of duck calls. That'll put me out of business.
That's a family business, right?
It's a family business. My father started 40 years ago and was very patient and watched it grow. And who would have thought, you know, we would have had #1 reality show on TV this year.
2-0 pitch. Does it bother you, all those cameras around you guys?
No, you know what that's like. I mean, I know the cameras are there. It's not a hidden camera show, so we know they're filming, and it's just part of life. You don't even think about it.
You're from Louisiana, right?
West Monroe, Louisiana. Yes, sir.
Doesn't that beard get hot?
The beard's not. The hair gets hot, but the beard is not so bad.
Here's a 2-1 pitch.
But it gets hot down in Louisiana, so we're used to it.
Now, my understanding is one of your family members was a heck of a football player. Is that correct?
Yeah, my father played at Louisiana Tech ahead of a young, blonde-headed Terry Bradshaw. Bradshaw was the backup, and Phil was the starter, and he had quite a career. He was also a big baseball, too. He was all-state in baseball, had a good arm, and the problem was football season and duck season at the same time. So he went about 3 years in college with that and said, I'm done. I got to go chase some ducks. It worked out for he and Bradshaw and all of us. So everybody's happy now.
Here's a 3-1 pitch. Nasty breaking ball, 3-2. I'll tell you what, that's a good choice in life because he's probably able to get up out of bed in the morning. He's not sore anymore, and he's cashing big checks.
That's what he said. Yeah, he said he didn't get all beat up in pro football, and you know the money back then wasn't even big. He told me, he said, you know, he really waited and said, I just didn't know if it was worth it financially. Can you imagine?
Unbelievable.
You know, first round draft choice, and like, no, I think he went to work in the oil field.
Now you're a young man. How old are you?
41 years old.
Here's a 3-2 pitch to Holiday. And that's out of play. I bring that up because the older members of your family, could you imagine them ever thinking that a duck call would then lead to a reality TV show?
No, I told my dad about the show. I said, Phil, they want to do this big reality show. And he said, no, that'll never work. I remind him all the time that he was wrong. I said, well, let's at least try it. I mean, you know, it couldn't hurt our business, right? And, yeah, I remind him of that quite often.
Here's a 3-2 pitch. Up and into Holiday. Bases loaded. Now, you're pretty close with Adam Wainwright. Is that correct?
Yes. Yeah, Adam and Matt Holliday. See, I used to hang out with the Rockies a long time ago and go out there and hunt. And I used to hold Jackson during the games. Matt's son, he would throw the ball down the stairs, and I would go get it every time. He and I were just talking about that. And he was a little guy. He's probably a year old, and I'd sit and talk with his wife during the games, and yeah, it's good times. Right when I first, you know, a lot of people knew who we were back then, even before Duck Dynasty, because we had videos and we had shows on the Outdoor Channel. So, you know, a lot of the outdoorsmen knew who we were. So I'd go out there and hunt and hang out in clubhouses. And somehow I got pulled into baseball. And I've got friends all over the league that I hang out with and talk to regularly. And so it's good to catch up with Matt again. I didn't even recognize Jackson now. He's a lot older now.
Big kid now. Do you follow the Cardinals much?
I do. I keep, you know, it's kind of knowing a bunch of players now has ruined, you know, who I follow, because now I just follow people and see how they're doing. Yeah, I mean, the guys get traded, so I've always liked the Cardinal organization. I thought it was first class. I was here a couple of years ago. We were actually filming for Buck Commander. And we had some. It was in the game got rained down. We had somebody talked into letting me slide across the tarp, and then somebody nipped it last minute. But I almost had a really good memory here.
Three All-Stars on the bases. All-Star pitcher to the All-Star hitter. Here we go. As Craig takes a pitch, low and away. I would assume, Willie, you can't really necessarily blend in. You know, because you got a unique look.
You know, when you look like this, you pretty much just got to wear it wherever you go. So
I got to tell you, it's a good look too. If I could grow a beard like that, I would. I can't.
What happened to you, man? Well, you got gel in your hair, no beard.
Are you taking shots at me, Willie?
That's pathetic.
I think you. Oh, Willie. There's a fly ball into right. And Stanton will get himself in a position to make the catch and throw.
There we go.
Two runners tag up. And Alan Gregg, he's been an RBI machine with 69. That hurts, Willie. But I'll get over it. I'll get over it.
Hey, you just bow down to the man society. I get it, man. We just, you know.
Now, I was going to ask you, do you know who the Mad Hungarian is? That's Al Rabowski. Okay, he normally sits in that chair.
Oh, yeah?
And I was going to ask you guys to maybe compare facial hair.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's menacing, man.
Really?
Yeah, big time.
This big? That's good.
He could, yeah, it could get that big easily. So we were discussing your appearance here at Busch Stadium, and one of the topics was facial hair, and he's noted for that all time in all sports. He's one of the greatest.
Oh, you got to love it. I love when men let their... You got to let God do what he wanted to do, see? See, women don't have beards, men do, and that's why we grow them out.
It's an interesting look at it.
Hey, we save a lot of money on razors and haircuts.
When's the last haircut you had?
Shoot, my wife cuts it once a year.
Is that right?
Yeah. She'll trim it back, do a little spring cleaning.
Spring cleaning, I like that.
No telling what's going to fall out of there. Look, we do all this for the winter because it's really cold. We're out there hunting all the time, so it's nice then. You have to mow through the summers and grind it out, and then when winter gets here, so you'll be freezing. I'll be warm as I can be.
I'll be wishing Willie was right next to me. Well, I'm going to get your cell after this so we can do some hunting next winter. I know you want to give it to me.
Come on, yeah.
We'll figure it out.
We'll have to get you a gallon of face paint to cover that face up. You'll be sticking out like a pie plate out there in the woods.
I love it. You know, normally, Willie, we get people up here, and you got to stay and toe the line. I got to have a little fun with you.
That's from hanging out with baseball players. They give it to me as bad as they can give it out.
I love it. Now, do you do much speaking to crowds? I mean, have you done this before? I know some people have told me you've done a lot.
Yeah, every weekend I'm gone somewhere talking. I did 2 events yesterday and back here today, so I'm excited. But I haven't done anything quite like this. So this is I circled this on my calendar. I was excited when they asked me. I said, heck yeah, I'll be there. Something I believe in, and like I told you, I love baseball. I'm at the stadiums all the time and hanging out. And I was going to do BP today, but I hurt my back trying to seine a pond July 4th, so I told Wainwright I was day-to-day.
Yeah, day-to-day, but aren't we all?
I know I look in great shape, but I'm not as in shape as I look.
You look fabulous.
You see my pitch?
I did.
Yeah.
It was nice. Wainwright was your catcher. He framed it
That's
really
a big
nicely.
target, yeah. I told him don't screw it up. I'm going to put it right in your mitt.
You know, he's 6'7", man.
And it's hard to miss that.
Exactly. So what do you guys do? I mean, to keep yourself in shape, maybe some hot yoga or what?
I tried that. I did that on the TV show. I did. No, I did it on national TV, and that yoga is hard. Whew.
Yeah,
I thought it was just stretching. I didn't know it was that intense. They heat that room up.
Swing and a miss, and a throw down to second, and they keep it in front. Try to stay in that rundown to allow the run to score. Throw to the plate, and they score. Holiday kicked to the line, makes it play, and with that, Beltran scores to make it 3-1. That's how you draw it up.
Hey, see all this good stuff happening?
That's because you're here.
All this positivity.
So here it is. Holiday hit and run on. Caught in the middle. This is actually something they work on at spring training. And with that, Beltran then coming to the plate. Mishandled by the catcher, Jeff Mathis. Beltran scores, and that's a Hyundai replay to make it 3-1. So here's John Jay, who doubled down the left field line his first time up. What's your message, Willie, coming up after the game?
Well, I'm just going to talk about, family and the importance of family, how Christianity has really shaped and influenced our lives, and for the positive, and hopefully I can get that message across to some people and, help some people out who maybe are struggling and encourage ones who are doing great. And, I think America was really searching and thirsting for something positive like that. Again, there's so much garbage on TV that, I think we all get sick of watching train wreck after train wreck. So it's good to see something positive and just try to spread the word on that, It's not a bad way to live.
And you're the American dream, aren't you? Business, and then all of a sudden that explodes into what you have now, multi-million-dollar TV show on A&E and all these followers. So you have a platform and a chance to really reach to a lot of people.
You said it, brother. That's the way it goes, and we just try to, make that better and keep on and look for opportunities like this to be able to go out. And, it's good to see the fans who watch the show and listen to what they say.
Ground out by John Jay. Willie, thanks, man. We appreciate it so much.
Good time.
Have a great day. Enjoy what you bring to the people later this afternoon. We appreciate you being here, too.
Thank you.
You bet. Willie Robertson, 3-1 Cardinals. learn how to help, we've been wearing pins to support this project. StopOutBullying.org. Let's see. Al, you're back. Did you compare facial hair with Willie? I brought it up to him.
I kept on wanting to see you if you're okay. Got a pretty good shot in on you.
How about shots? Let's see. Pie plate. Yeah, he said you'd look like a pie plate out there in the woods. All the animals.
Well, I know that's why you needed a bunch of the camouflage paint, right?
Some of St. Louis's finest here. And let's see. What else? Oh, pathetic too. Yeah, that was the other one. Yeah, that was the other one.
Pathetic.
Yeah. My encounter with Willie Robertson.
But you feel better about yourself now, don't you?
I do. What a nice man. That was fun. Here's Logan Morrison. And he takes a ball low. And the Cardinals have a 3-1 lead. Morrison, Ozuna, and Dietrich.
I got a chance to catch up with Todd Worrell. He and his wife Jamie were part of the escort for Willie.
I wouldn't mess with him then. Todd's a big dude. Popped up into shallow right center. John Jay makes the catch. One away. Slider catches the outside corner. Willie Robertson, part of Christian Day here at the ballpark. Lance Lynn dealing now with a 2-run lead. And it's 0-2 on Marcell Ozuna. Fly to center first time up.
Todd did recommend that instead of watching the series come in the middle of it, try to hit it at the beginning. So it's a little more enjoyable that way. You know what the episode's about. Because I know you're a frequent visitor to that site.
Here's a 1-2 pitch. One hit in 16 at bats. Marcell Ozuna.
Very talented young player that came up from Double-A.
A liner into right center. Jay on the move, diving, can't come up with it. Ozuna nearly missed the bag at first, on his way to second, and in with a triple.
Nice going with that graphic.
So 1-out triple brings in Dietrich.
Don Jay's got his errorless streak up to 229 games. It's the longest consecutive errorless streak by any Cardinal outfielder. Almost comes within inches of making a great play. Hyundai with that replay, but let's see how well he touches first. Did he touch it? Probably did, but wasn't the ideal way to go around the first base bag.
Could you imagine if they appealed and called him out?
Oh.
Miami has been on the bad end of many of the calls last two games.
Maybe that's the tough part for Mike Redmond, who just stopped his playing career 2 years ago. These umpires might have fresh memories of some kind of a player-umpire confrontation.
1 ball and 2 strikes. Mentioned it yesterday. 13 managers right now have had catching experience in pro ball. Not necessarily Major League Baseball, but professional ball.
Yeah, Redmond was a backup catcher. Hit pretty red, too. I think I looked at the other day, was 108 or 287 career.
Very good defensive play.
Yep, and had connections back to the 2003 World Series team.
Larry Boa was interviewed, Lloyd McClendon, but they wanted to have a tie to Miami, so part of their 2003 championship team. And hit by the pitch, it's Dietrich. So runners at the corners with 1 down. Missouri Lottery brings you Fox Tracks this afternoon. Runners at first and third. Pitch count already near 70 for Lance Lynn.
Got it on the back knee. I always like to look at comparisons between pitchers and hit batters. And Lance Lynn has only allowed 5 home runs on the year, and that was the 8th batter he's hit.
One out, runners at first and third. Lynn would love the double play here.
That's what Lynn really works slow, doesn't he?
And that is a foul ball. And it gets slower with runners on, obviously, and that's been the case here today. Third base umpire is Bill Welke.
How foul it is.
That's why you take your lead in foul territory. That hit him, I believe.
I thought it did too. Didn't really tell it, but I thought it did. Get you in foul territory. You just have a sore spot.
Dead ball. 1 ball, 1 strike. In on the hands of the Marlins shortstop, who's been very good defensively. 4th in fielding percentage in the National League among shortstops. He's picked up from Toronto on that massive deal in the offseason.
Mike Redmond last 2 years was managing in the Blue Jays system. Clearwater, that's the Florida State League. You might have known about it.
Check swing, he went. Strikeout.
Good
5 strikeouts today for Lance Lynn. A big one there.
Probably did way too much movement. Hands coming through. Pretty emphatic call by our home plate umpire.
So 2 outs and 2 on. The hitter is Jeff Mathis, 8th place hitter. Struck out with a runner at first, his first time up. Dropping down a bunt. It's a beauty. And no play for Lynn. Mathis brings in Ozuna. Cuts a lead to 3-2.
Safety squeeze right there as runner's not really coming down blind. He's just bunting. It just, if it gets in a good location, and that was a perfect bunt, that runner at third has the option of coming home. And he drops down a perfect bunt. 8th place hitter, you have to be aware of that possibility and just know where to defense that one.
Runners at first and second for Jose Fernandez. chops it to second. Taken there by Carpenter. The RBI by Mathis, and it cuts into the lead. 3-2 midway through 4. And fans 16 and older get a bobblehead featuring Ozzie Smith and the Baby Blues, and 13 Gold Gloves that went along with it. That's July 19th. It's part of Hall of Fame weekend. Ozzie Smith, his bobblehead, the Shane Deese 1940s jersey giveaway, and Stan the Man, the replica statue giveaway, all that weekend coming up when the Cardinals take on the San Diego Padres. Home half of the 4th, it's Tony Cruz, Pete Kozma, and Lance Lynn on a Sunday afternoon here at Busch. Cruz struck out swinging first time up. Fernandez has struck out 3. First pitch popped up, and that'll find the seats out of play.
I mentioned Fernandez when his successful fleeing from Cuba. They were the boat. I think there were 23 people in that boat, including his mother. But call went out. This man overboard, and he jumped into the water. He was 15 at the time. Didn't realize who the person was that he rescued, and it was his mother. And they said after being informed that he made the National League All-Star team, he said his biggest concern was, what about my mom? You know, and they assured him that she will be there, be taken care of, and he didn't have to worry about it.
Cruz with a line drive out to left and caught by Juan Pierre. Home run today by Holiday. RBI for Craig, his 69th. Now just 4 back of Paul Goldschmidt for the league lead. High-speed pitch brought to you by Charter. Fernandez has hit 97. Lynn at 94.
You can tell with that fastball, though, it's the breaking ball that really has got the hitters guessing.
Kozma back to Fernandez. Steps, throws, 2 away. 2 outs as they intentionally walk Kozma first time up to get to Lance Lynn. Lynn with 2 runners on, flied out to right. Fernandez playing with the dirt just a bit. Had an awkward landing after that last pitch. Here's pitch number 57 of the day. Marlins have already said they will curtail the innings for Fernandez. Roughly 175 to 180 before the season is through. No need to push him this year.
134 innings last season, and that was all at A ball, low A, and then at Jupiter. Finished up, combined 14-1 on the year. 1.75 ERA.
And that's ball 4 to Lynn. Fernandez just laughing. 2-out walk. Young pitchers who are piling up the Kings. Harvey, Miller, Fernandez, Strasburg. Oldest of the bunch, Matt Harvey, Steven Strasburg. Youth is served, huh, in Major League Baseball.
It'll be interesting to see as they get older if they still continue to work that hard to get strikeouts. When you're young, you fall in love with a strikeout. Later on, you start realizing the value of getting people out in fewer pitches.
The other aspect of that too, those 4 are power pitchers.
Right.
You know, how much longer can they continue to be the guys that can throw at 95 to 97 miles an hour? There's Carpenter, who's hit by a pitch, scored a run. He's also flied out to center.
The Nolan Ryans were quite rare.
Matt Carpenter, when you look at the stats, rarely does he chase a pitch. He swings at strikes. He has stayed away from pitches up in the zone. What a story this has been. 2009, a 13th round pick from TCU. A 4-year college player. That is rare. Most are either signed out of high school or after 3 years of college ball. Signing bonus of $1,000. And in high A, as recently as a couple years ago, he had 219 and 128 plate appearances. So I don't think anybody expected to see what we're seeing now, which is an all-star campaign. Strikes out here, but congratulations to Matt Carpenter. Classic in New York, and that'll be seen on Fox July 16th. Most All-Stars, Detroit leading the way with Miguel Cabrera and 5 others. Cardinals with 5, Pirates 4, Baltimore 4. The Pirates have the best record in the game today, but yet no starters on the All-Star team.
When you think about it too, Mike Matheny said he did not envy Bruce Bochy trying to select the team. He was envious of why he was selecting the team and felt that Bruce Bochy went up and beyond taking care of Cardinal players. So there were a couple close ones, but very easily he could have kept Alan Craig off there. That was a Bochy decision. And you know, sometimes a manager loads up with his team because that's why he's out there managing that game, because of what his teammates or his team did the year before.
Now I'm going to counter that and say Alan Craig is third in the league in hitting.
Oh no, I mean, he's totally justified.
Yeah. Second in RBIs and gives you versatility at the outfield or first base.
Leland took 6th, the most.
Liner into left center off the bat of Juan Pierre, leadoff hit. And again, Lance Lynn will have to work from the stretch here in the 5th.
Anytime Juan Pierre hits the ball, you just know. You don't have to look. You can just know he's in automatic hustle mode, thinking two, and then lets the defense stop him. Mentioned that he's the current leader of active players in career steals, over 600.
Now, if you're Bruce Bochy, this one counts. Do you think that changes the mindset of what managers used to deal with in selecting the All-Stars, where you want to take care of your guys for what they did the year before, but yet this one counts now?
And I think that helps justify it or explain it to a team that, hey, you're having a down year, you don't deserve it. Yes,
Pick off and back in safely is Pierre.
Based on what you did last year, you know, you helped me get here, but you're not having a good year this year, so I can't justify it. And there's an awful lot of input from the commissioner's office. See where Tony, how far he saw he was straying. Juan has 18 steals this year in 24 attempts.
And Lucas at the plate. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Had him going. He was leaning.
Sure was.
High throw. If it's down, he's out. First move, see you start, go to second. He'll dive for that back half of the bag.
May have caught Cruz on his throwing hand there, which was not behind his back, I don't believe.
That's kind of that tough thing when you got a base stealer out there. A lot of times you're almost getting into a position to throw, and you do take that hand out from your back. Watch him. He just had it sitting there on the right leg. Or some will put it all the way behind their back.
See if they want to run here with 1 ball and 2 strikes. How's that hand feeling? By the way, we were wondering about the Sunday pitcher rule. There is a rule with the All-Star game, and Wainwright would make that start. You see the career active leaders and steals, over 600 for Pierre. The Sunday pitcher still has the option to participate or not in the All-Star game. MLB will encourage them, though, to show up, be recognized. Double play ball. Out at second. Double play. 6-4-3.
I can throw a maximum of 1 inning. As you see, just a routine. Juan Pierre tries to go after the pivot man, but comes up short.
And part of the rule is that the pitcher then, as you mentioned, 1 inning, also can say to, let's say, Bruce Bochy, Wainwright can say, if I get to a certain number of pitches, please take me out, no matter the situation.
And it's my understanding that if you go along and say, no, I won't pitch the 1 inning, you still get recognized.
Correct.
But then they can replace you.
That's correct. Matter of fact, they encourage him to show up.
Sure.
So here's Stanton, who has struck out twice, 0 for 2. Outfield is straight away and deep. They've had very good success pitching in on Stanton.
Just got to be careful. Hitter, we're always talking about adjustments. One, he may be adjusting, look for that pitch inside, so they got to go out away. That's a real good pitch. Now it kind of opens up a little bit. 1 for 9 in the series.
The 2-1 pitch.
Talk about how a pitcher can throw to both sides of the plate, but a hitter can't have coverage on both sides. He has to kind of decide which one he wants to own, the inner part or the way.
Got him again. Strikes out Stanton for the 3rd time as he slams his bat. That is 6 strikeouts today for Lance Lynn. We're midway through 5. A hot summer day here in St. Louis, and the frustrations boiling over for Stanton. Lewis. Find the seat you want, freedom to choose where you'd like to sit. You also get fan rewards at StubHub. It's StubHub.com. It's Beltran, Holiday, and Craig. That pitch is taken for a strike. Happy 14th birthday to Ryan Peacock, celebrating with Will Kaiser and Josh Bay here at the ballpark. But happy birthday to Ryan Peacock, 14 years old. 2 strikes quickly on Beltran, who singled and also grounded out to second. Oh, 2 pitch. Hold foul. Ground ball, base hit, right side. 2 hits today for Carlos Beltran.
At every pitch.
See where Ballpark Village comes into view. There will be a rooftop seating at the Village for next year. Two-tier deck. All-inclusive tickets there.
Down below, I believe it's going to be the Cardinal Museum.
Every time we go out of town, we come back. We can't believe the amount of work that's been done on that. Here's Holiday, who is homered, also walked, and looks at his strike. Heads up play by Matt to stay in a rundown, allowing a run to score.
And phase one will be open by opening day next year, right?
I believe so. Ground ball slowly hit to the left side. Out at second and out at first. Holiday is hit into another double play. Two more in this series. First time he's been retired, and some key plays ball game today. It starts with Matt Holiday on a 1-1 pitch back in the first inning. His home run to center. Then the strikeout of Freeze. Holiday stays in a rundown. Beltran heads up slide, scores. And then this bunt here. That coming with 2 outs from their catcher allows a run to score.
Difference in this game is the sac fly by Alan Craig. 69th RBI.
Craig has popped out. And then that fly ball to right to score. The second run of the game. You seen any kind of pattern with Fernandez, Al? Remember last time, 10 strikeouts, all coming on that breaking ball.
Yeah, I just think that they're still chasing the breaking ball quite a bit. Carlos Beltran's second hit just moments ago was on the curveball. There you see there, they're fooled a little bit, but early in the count, I think the Cardinals, until they get 2 strikes, are still looking fastball and trying to take it up the middle. Once he gets 2 strikes, they seem to be swinging, and most of the time it's a ball out of the strike zone. Coming in this time.
Foul tip.
He has varied speeds on his curveball. At times it looks really sliderish. Right there.
Yeah. Nasty pitch, strikeout of Craig. 5 today for Fernandez. Part of the lineup coming up.
Dan, Matt Carpenter said being an all-star was something he dreamed about while playing wiffle ball with his brother when he was growing up. He says he really wasn't thinking about it this season, even as it became apparent his numbers were all-star caliber. He says he had already booked a flight to Fort Worth, Texas. He and his wife were going to look for a house during the all-star break. Dan, obviously, those plans are going to change.
Yeah, and let's also, while we have you, Jim, ask you about Yadier Molina. We've talked a little bit about it initially, but for those that are just joining us, what's the latest with Yadi?
He had an MRI on his right knee last night, and it came back negative. It's just inflammation. He says he may be able to play on Tuesday. He got concerned. The knee had been bothering him for a while, but on Friday it hurt when he ran, so he decided to get it checked out. But the good news, there's nothing in terms of structural damage, and really just day-to-day for Yadi, Dan.
It's Jim Hayes, Logan Morrison at the plate. Jim, one final question for you. We have Carlos Beltran heading to another All-Star game, and let's face it, he's going back to a place that some love him, some don't, and it should be a lot of fun for him. Going back to New York at Citi Field, he has been dealing with a little bit of a side issue, and there's talk of him participating in the Home Run Derby. Do we know what his stance is on that?
No, he's going to wait and see on that. But going back to New York, he said he wasn't sure what the reaction was going to be from the fans, but he was excited to go back. But he said he's more excited just for the young players on the Cardinals who never were All-Stars before and watching their level of excitement, Dan.
All right, Jim, thanks. We appreciate it as always. 0-2 the count on Logan Morrison. Broken bat, back to Lynn for the out.
Lance Lynn, 86 pitches, 5 1/3 innings.
Marcell Ozuna. Triple. That was back in the fourth. Popped up. Cruz giving chase, and it's out of play. Troy Tulowitzki, dealing with a fractured rib, is going to try to play next week for the Rockies, and if he can do that, he will play in the All-Star game. Rockies really missing him, 7-14 with him out of the lineup. Pete Kozma, 2 away. Real Madrid takes on Inter Milan. That's August 10th. At the Dome. Get your tickets at Ticketmaster.com. Two away. Derek Dietrich will be the hitter. Lynn at 91 pitches.
Seattle beat Cincinnati again, 3-1.
Out of play.
Cardinal win here today, and a Pittsburgh loss would put the two tied in the Central Division. Pittsburgh is still batting, but they have tied Chicago 2-2. They're in the top of the fifth.
Two and one the count. Dietrich, double and a run scored, also hit by a pitch. And he walked him, a 2-out walk. That's something that Lynn has not done today. That's been the aspect that's been very positive about his outing.
Did hit Dietrich last time up. Now his first walk. Cardinals, really the Marlins too, but the Cardinals have been very good at not giving away a lot of free passes.
Single to right, and then he struck out swinging with 2 runners on back in the 4th. Outfield is shallow. Pitch is taken for a strike. He thought at that time in the 4th Lynn would get out of the jam. Just 2 runners on, had the strikeout, then the 8th place hitter, 1st and 3rd with 2 outs, and he laid down a bunt.
That pitch running in on right-handed batters, very effective. Keep them honest inside, not diving across the plate and getting people out of the way.
Popped up. Kozma coming up for St. Louis. David Freese. Couple of Ks today. He'd love to change that. We'll find out when we come back. This copyrighted telecast is presented by the authority of the Cardinals and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the St. Louis Cardinals. Ball taken low by David Freese, underway here in the home half of the 6th.
Time to get something going here. It's a big crowd, kind of quiet, waiting for some more action.
Seattle holds on against Cincinnati. They win it 3-1. Justin Smoke, a 2-run homer in that game. Arroyo takes a loss. He's now 7-6. Pittsburgh and Chicago, they're tied up at 2-2. Tabata and McCutcheon, they've done some damage, as the Pirates are 20 games above the 500 mark. And St. Louis is just a game back of Pittsburgh. 4 walks issued by Fernandez. What's on tap? Brought to you by Budweiser. Will come your way on Tuesday night. Bud Norris getting the start. Our Budweiser What's on tap. 8.5, 2.74 ERA, and that's what he's done against St. Louis. Always very tough.
As really early in his career is when he was the toughest against the Cardinals, and Adam Wainwright will be pitching for the Cardinals, and he has owned Houston.
Bud Norris is 6-7. ERA is just over 3. I think you take that with that team.
Yeah, and he may go elsewhere to trade deadline. But Adam Wainwright is 12-1 with a 1.58 ERA in his career against Houston, with a 6-game winning streak in his last 6 starts. I'll take our chances with Adam against any opponent.
Ground ball, and it's hit to the third baseman, who is playing in. Tough to turn 2, but they do it. 5-4-3 on the double play. Lucas playing off the line and even with the bag, and then Dietrich had to hurry up and get to the bag at second.
Second double play. The defense has turned behind Fernandez in the last 2 innings. Raced a Beltran base hit in the 5th. And the David Freese walk here in the 6th. 4 walks and a hit batter. Really haven't hurt him too badly.
Cruz has struck out back in the 2nd inning, also lined out to left. No homers, 4 RBIs.
Oh, no. No.
This time next week, the Cardinals will have played 50 games on the road. So second half, good portion of that spent at home.
Do you see any reason why Fernandez is so deceptive with that breaking ball?
It's kind of like you said, though. It's not necessarily your 12-6 curveball. It's more of that hard slider.
They call it a curveball, change-up curveball, go along with a 96-mile-an-hour fastball, but throw it like a frisbee, and it really goes wide, down and away.
Cardinals, you have to gear up for the 96-mile-an-hour fastball, then it breaks off the table. I thought in his first start against the Cardinals, arguably the best we had seen against St. Louis, and that includes Matt Harvey.
And talking with players, because a lot of people were concerned.
Ouch.
Breaking ball there. Gets away from him. So second hit batter. That doubles his season output. And gets him on the tricep. But, a lot of the people wanted to know, because the Cardinals saw Harvey and then they saw Fernandez. And most of the Cardinal players felt that Harvey had more ways to get you out. Maybe they just didn't want to acknowledge the fact that Fernandez had struck out 10 and beat him or something like that. Sometimes there are little frustrations.
Matt Adams has moved to the on-deck circle. Would be for Lynn's spot. Seth Maness throwing in the Cardinals' pen. Adams, the big 2-run homer off the bench yesterday off of Mike Dunn.
And the lefty starting to throw in the Miami pen.
Popped up, outfield grass, and the catch made by Derek Dietrich. We ended the 7th, 3-2 St. Louis. We'll have this again on Tuesday night. AT Twitter poll, Freddie Freeman would be the choice as of today. And again, the All-Star game on Fox July 16th. Lance Lynn back out for the 7th. You can try the new Egg White Delight McMuffin. Only 250 calories and only at McDonald's.
Lance Lynn's going back out for the 7th, but it will be his last inning if he can get through. You got Seth Maness and Randy Schoep warming up. His spot in the order is due up first. I've got a lefty, Jennings, who's throwing for Miami, with Hernandez spot up to second, and they have a pinch hitter standing in the on deck circle. Polanco.
First pitch by Lynn, hit out of play. Lance Lynn, 1 walk. He has struck out 6. Marlins with 6 base hits. Cardinals have the lead 3-2.
Mathis heads up with runners at first and third. Dropped a perfect bunt down the third base line. Drove in his 17th run of the year.
Only the second time in Mariano Rivera's career he's allowed a 9th inning go-ahead home run at home, with the Yankees leading at the time. He did that today, and the Orioles beat New York. Last time it happened was 2004. Benji Molina with that home run.
And there's nothing, he was at home, but there's nothing more frustrating what happened the other day to Mujica.
7th strikeout. Usual statue is coming up. That's the one that you walk through the main gates at Busch Stadium. You see it pictured there on the bottom right. That's the collection of the bronze statues, and you can get Stan the Man's bronze statue July 22nd when the Cardinals take on the San Diego Padres. Part of Hall of Fame weekend. Ozzie bobblehead, red jersey, and the Stan statue giveaway. That swung on and missed by Polanco, the pinch hitter, and Fernandez is out of this game. Polanco made a start yesterday. Pitch count well over 100 now for Lance Lynn.
Other being a nice warm day, you really don't worry about that pitch count too much with the big guy.
And a base hit for Polanco off the bench. 1 out single. Wonder if that'll be it, knowing that Maness is so good and efficient at getting a double play. He had been throwing.
You've got Juan Pierre coming up first. They do have Randy Schoep. It might think he wanted to go that route.
3rd of 5 Ice Mountain autograph nights this Wednesday. Cards and Astros. Current and former players will be signing. Find out more at cardinals.com/promotions.
It's a couple batters away, but the way Lynn has pitched to Stanton, you may want to keep him in. Off-speed pitch there, and he was way over the top of it.
Very shallow. Shade him just a bit to left center.
And Juan Pierre was such a hard worker. Noticed yesterday, way before Cardinal batting practice, he had one of the coaches going fly balls over his shoulder, left, right, all the way, starting from the infield all the way to the wall.
Ground ball, and can they turn two? Out there, double play. 4-6-3 off the bat of Juan Pierre. Time to stretch. Good work by Lance Lynn today. 3-2, Birds on top. Experiences right now online at cardinals.com/TV auction. And remember, when you make a donation or a pledge or a bid, it's all going to kids in St. Louis. Dan Jennings takes over, one of two lefties they have in their pen. This is the Chevy call to the pen.
Shane Robinson's going to pinch hit to be the first batter to face Jennings, appearing for the 19th time. He has that 3.45 ERA. Lost his first decision earlier this week at Atlanta.
The base hit by Shane Robinson to right field that allowed the Cardinals to win that game. Also a little help from the Marlins. Lance Lynn, 7 innings, 7 hits, 2 runs, both were earned, 1 walk, and he strikes out 7. Rivera's streak had been 41 straight save chances converted at home. All-time record, by the way, Eric Gagne, 51 at home. Big gap in left center, the 1-1 pitch. Always talk about it. He likes that ball up.
Yep. Shane Robinson got the big hit yesterday as part of the mad dash home by John Jay for the winning run. Shane led the club with pinch hits a year ago.
The 2-2 slowly hit. Echevarria makes the play. Robinson retired. 1 away. Barnes Jewish Hospital, proud sponsors of our difference maker. Highest average by a Cardinal leadoff hitter since 1980. It's a pretty select company there for Matt Carpenter. Lonnie Smith, Bernard Gilkey, David Eckstein, Ken Oberkfell. And Matt today has been hit by a pitch. He has struck out, also fly to center. Barnes Jewish Hospital difference maker. Marlins will have Lucas, Stanton, and Morrison due up.
Jennings will probably have Carpenter and Beltran. And they go to Webb, who is warming up for him, with the right-handers coming behind the switch-hitting Carlos Beltran, going to his 8th All-Star game.
Two strikes on Carpenter. There's Rosenthal, struck out the side 2 nights ago. He'll come in with a 1-run lead. Maybe more. And Carpenter waves at it, strikes out for the 2nd time. Beltran will be the hitter. They'll turn him around. Gives you a pretty good indication. We always talk about lefty-lefty matchup. That replay of just how hard it is.
You know, Dan, a lot of people just think, you know, you got a left-handed pitcher, it's automatic. You still have to make a good pitch. If you make a good pitch, you got a good chance of getting them out. But if you don't, they're going to hurt you too.
Beltran, pair of hits today, 2 for 3.
The home run that Adams hit yesterday off a left-hander. He really missed location and threw it right into his wheelhouse.
On the ground to short. Cardinals go in order. St. Louis leads it 3-2 after 7. Perez. Pat. Thank you, Pat. Our score is 3-2. St. Louis is leading the Miami Marlins. Young pitcher that's turned out to be one of the most valuable in any bullpen. Trevor Rosenthal. And Rosenthal coming in with an ERA that is under 2. It's our Chevy call to the pen. He'll get Ed Lucas, Giancarlo Stanton, Logan Morrison. 0-1 pitch hit down the right field line, and strike 2. Good effort by Beltran. Rosenthal, 41 innings. Then you think about all the strikeouts. 60. Allowed a total of just 9 earned runs, and opponents hitting .222 against him. So back-to-back-to-back days for Trevor Rosenthal.
And with the off day tomorrow, you can do that very easily, not only with Rosenthal, but also with Mojica.
It's another sold-out crowd today. 43,741. 43,741. 90,000 plus in the first 2 games against the Miami Marlins, and then they add in 43 today. Pretty amazing.
School's out, weekend, big holiday weekend, great promotions, ball club back in town. And these big crowds have helped out the players too.
Strikeout for Rosenthal. 1 away. Time for our AT&T U-verse Rewind. Holiday 1 for 2. His home run early on in the first. Fernandez, the all-star starter for Miami. 6 innings, 4 hits, 3 earned runs, struck out 5. And Lance Lynn, 7 innings today. Lynn did a really good job with Stanton. Saw a lot of those fastballs with good tailing action in on his hands. Last time up, got him to chase a pitch.
Lance Lynn could have been under consideration, trying to win his 11th ball game. You know, Rosenthal, Mojica, definitely Mojica.
Fly ball, right center, and it drops in. Stanton really didn't get out of the box all that quickly. It stays in the ballpark. So 1 out double. Cardinals baseball on Fox Sports Midwest is brought to you by Bud Light, music first. It's the sound of history being made. Here we go. And by Ford, the official cars and trucks of the St. Louis Cardinals. Stanton may have thought that this was headed out. Let's watch his reaction.
I think it looked like more of a pop-up swing, and then he reacts that way, but that ball found a gap out there, and
now he's all smiles.
I don't think he could have gone past second base, but sure would like to have seen him run harder and not be so upset slamming the bat down. They have a big ballpark down there, so you wouldn't think that he thought it was a home run.
Hit speed 95 miles an hour plus. So 1 out double. Tying run in scoring position for Morrison. Cardinals do have the lefty throwing in the pen.
Secrets.
And you have to assume that he's getting ready for Dietrich if we get there.
Yeah, interesting that we are really impressed with Kevin Sechrist. Love to see him anytime, but
line drive center field, and Stanton had to wait. And so because of that, to make sure it wasn't caught, Cardinals still have a lead 3-2.
Watch us take this lead. You know, that just, I don't know if you got to in my mind, a bad read on that because I don't think we ever thought it was going to be caught. Got Wilquist out to talk. We're starting to see the effects of the third day in a row off of Rosenthal.
Cardinals have been able to turn 2 double plays, one in the 5th, another one in the 7th, and now everything in play with Marcelo Zuna, who has fly to center, a triple to right center, also grounded out to short. 8 pitches at 95 or better here in this inning for Rosenthal, but only 1 out to show for it.
Miles an hour.
Most Ks in relief. Just in front of the All-Star Grilly.
Time you're over Chapman, you got to feel pretty good about yourself also, don't you?
Absolutely.
Rosenthal first in the National League, as we saw, with those 61 Ks. National League relievers, team leader in innings and appearances. Second in holds in the National League.
One pitch. Hit out of play. You would love strikeout number 62 here. And Dietrich on deck, hits from the left side.
I'll take the double play ball.
Got him. Strikeout for Rosenthal. 2 away.
Because of that strikeout there, does that give him the shot at the left-hand hitting Dietrich?
Looks to be the case. Runners at the corners. Dietrich doubled and scored in the 2nd. Hit by a pitch in the 4th. Walked in the 6th. Two outs, 2 on. First pitch to him. Hit him. .98-mile-an-hour pitch.
It's about the 5th hit batter in this game. Dietrich been hit twice. I guess the 4th, right? Because Hernandez hit 2. None of them intentional, but this one's the first one that might have really hurt.
Not sure any of them feel good, but when they're at 98, that can't feel good.
Barry Hill's trying to get his base runner back so he could talk to him and say, how's it feel?
Guys from the dugout screaming, don't rub it.
They're going to bring in Dobbs, I'm sure. A veteran pinch hitter, don't you think?
You would save him for this spot. Longtime major leaguers, really made a living recent years doing this, being a pinch hitter. And Dobbs this season is hitting .227. Does not lead their club in pinch hits. That belongs to Coughlin. This will be his 18th appearance as a pinch hitter. He's 14 for 17 with 4 RBIs in this spot.
14 for 17?
Excuse me, 4 for 17 with 4 RBIs.
I may have misheard it, but 14 for 17 would might have put him on my all-star team.
So bases loaded. 2 outs. Rosenthal trying to pitch out of the jam.
Off and breaking ball.
Mentioned it before, the last couple of weeks really have been doing that early in counts. Curveball, changeup, and he's been throwing it for strikes.
But in this situation, it's one of those catch-22s. You get beat on your changeup or curveball when you throw 100 miles an hour, people are going to really second guess you.
0-1 pitch. Make it 0-2. Another curveball. Let's listen to this crowd with the bases loaded come alive. Ground ball slowly hit. Carpenter is there. They get out of the jam. Finally, the out call. 3-2 Cardinals here in the 8th. The Cardinals have the lead of 3-2. Matt Holliday today early on. This is our Nissan drive of the game, and Holliday picking up home run number 12, RBI number 43. He's also walked and bounced into a double play. Cardinals have Holliday, Craig, Freeze due up as Descalso. Jay just studying the new pitcher in. That is Webb. Ryan Webb is into the game. Donovan Solano takes over at third. And Lucas moves from third to short. Chevy Cole to the pen. The right-hander, Ryan Webb.
For the 35th time, he has 1 win and 4 decisions. See the 24 strikeouts, 17 walks. Opponents batting .259 against him. ERA is under 3 in his last 10 appearances with 7 scoreless.
(3-2) Cardinals here in the 8th, and Holliday taps it foul.
Left-handed batters are hitting .290 against him. Right-handers .233 with just a home run.
Marlins in the ninth will have Mathis, Solano, and Pierre. It's popped up near the Cardinals dugout. One away. Mejica throwing in the pen. Here's the All-Star Allen Craig. Popped out to second. RBI, fly out to right, and struck out in the fifth. Mejica will come on, and this will be his fourth straight appearance. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Now, we have seen him work multiple days, handful of times this year, and it has not, for the most part, really affected him.
4 days in a row, and what, 5 out of 6.
Slowly hit, and that'll roll foul. Picked up by Solano.
Off day tomorrow will be well timed. Cardinal bullpen. Sure wouldn't hurt for a couple insurance runs though. To 94-mile-an-hour sinkers that Allen's seen so far. Yesterday with this guy really moves his feet around when he comes to the set position, bouncing up and down, happy feet.
Stays it on that pitch. Drives it into the corner and left. And Craig trots into second base. A one-out double. Found it interesting to see how Mike Matheny approached last inning, the top of the inning. He had Segrist available for a couple lefties, never went to him, despite the fact that Rosenthal was in trouble. Not sure why Segrist was up. Well, Dobbs would have been the guy, I would assume.
But that was the interesting thing, too, though. Not bringing him in because Segrist, right-handed batters are 0 for 16 against him. You know that he's can be very tough, the lefty against lefty. But it also does it show you an indication that the left-handed specialist Randy Schoch was not up. And my feeling is I'd take Segrist anytime.
Here's Freeze. One out, runner at second. Cardinals lead it by a run.
Strikeouts and a walk for David. Hernandez, when he got ahead of him, he threw that breaking ball well off the plate and got him just to go fishing. Cubs have taken a 3-2 lead over Pittsburgh. Still batting in the 7th.
Here's a ground ball that's hit to short, backhanded by Lucas. Low throw, but makes the play. Jay with a double in the second inning. Is grounded out to second. Also hit into a 5-4-3 double play. They'll pitch around Jay, it looks like here, and bring up Tony Cruz. Cardinals are in a position where they don't want to play Molina, obviously, behind the plate, so you couldn't pinch hit in this spot
unless
Molina wants to play through an injury and pain and not make a very smart decision.
Right. Mike Matheny is too smart and knows about the rigors and what it does back there behind the plate, so that's not an option. And in a 1-1 game, you're not going to put Wigginton back behind the plate. I look at it, got another base runner out there for Tony Cruz.
Busch Stadium in St. Louis. The Cardinals leading 3-2. Dan, Al, and Jim with you. 2 outs, 2 on. Cruz, base hit into right. They'll wave in the runner. That's Craig. Throw to the plate is in time. And what a tag as they get Craig. And it keeps it a 1-run lead for St. Louis. Tremendous tag at the plate to get Alan Craig. Tony Cruz, the base hit into right as Matheny will talk it over with the home plate umpire. Tag was there. Good call. It's 3-2.
After the game on the post-game edition of Missouri Lottery Cardinals Live, Pat Paris and Chris Duncan standing by. Little Dunk will break down Matt Holliday's home run swing. Lance Lynn versus Giancarlo Stanton. They'll look at that matchup. Plus, we'll have Mike Matheny's post-game comments as well. It's Mojica time. as Edward, Dan and Al tries to close it out for the Redbirds.
Yeah, and Jim, he's been busy, obviously, going back to Thursday night. Chevy called to the pin. That was his first blown save. And then on Friday, comes back, 2 strikeouts. Yesterday we saw him, and again today. The former Marlin takes over. Chevy called to the pin, Edward Mejica.
And look at there, as you see those 5 strikeouts kind of glaring. Descalzo stays in the, or comes into the game to play third base. So he will be hitting in the pitcher spot, but we're not going to have to worry about that bottom half of the end of this inning. 1-2-3 ninth inning. 23rd save.
Cubs are leading Pittsburgh. That's in the top of the 8th. Cardinals hold on. Cubs hold on. Tie for first. Swung on and missed by Mathis. Made a very good play at the plate with that tag.
Because of Mojica's changeup, I would think that, you know, all the back-to-back days, it would not be that big of a deal to him.
1 ball, 1 strike.
Might have an effect on his fastball a little bit, but I think if anything, might have better command of the changeup.
Here's a 1-1 pitch.
Changeup. But the changeup that he had on Thursday night just sat there. Remember, that was the time where he shook off Molina the first time since arriving a year ago at the trade deadline. First time he ever shook off, and both of them a game-tying home run and a game-winning hit. See that movement there. 3-2. No free passes.
Fly ball. Shallow right. And running catch made. Beltran. Long way to go, and comes up with it for the first out here in the 9th.
You've been talking about it. He's running so much better. It's early in the season when he had the cracked toe, but he really gave an extra effort on this one. That was headed for no man's land, and he's running hard. No one else is going to reach it. And then reaching out, hauls this one in, and then trying to stop his momentum as he's running hard, knows that wall or the warning tracks there. A little slide to stop it, and a very, very nice play. 3-time Gold Glove winner. Now don't hurt yourself.
It looked like if it did drop, it was fair.
Oh, yeah. And boy, something like that, just, you never know. Open that crack and
Donovan Solano. 1 out, nobody on.
Reggiano is on deck. He's got a little pop in his bat.
Fly ball. Shallow center. Jay calling off Carpenter. 2 away. 2 outs, nobody on here in the 9th. We turn to our player of the game, brought to you by Budweiser. 7 innings, 7 hits, 2 earned runs, 7 strikeouts, only 1 walk allowed by Lance Lynn. And the crowd, a sellout again. It's brought to you by Budweiser. That player of the game, they're on their feet.
Lance Lynn, that's his 10th straight decision here at Busch Stadium. Won 10 straight, now 16-5 at home.
1 out away. Reggiano, the pinch hitter.
And he's got 12 home runs, all 12 on the road.
We'll try to tie Kimbrel today.
He didn't have a save opportunity from June 19th until Thursday night.
Fly ball lifted into right center. On the move, Jay. How about a sweep? The Cardinals have it. They win it 3-2. Sweep away the Marlins.
Cardinals were struggling on the road. They had lost series after series, but now they come home. They start winning again. And you really have to win when you're playing a club like Miami. They're very spirited, but still, if you're going to be the contending team that we think the Cardinals are, you must sweep.
Matt Holliday goes deep and set the tone. This was in the first against Fernandez. A solo shot, his 12th, and the Cardinals hold on 3-2.